And just take the time you need to feel comfortable, either sitting up on something or right down on your mat. Find a long spine and kind of a gentle connection to grounding into the ground. So rather than feeling heavy or really collapsed into the bones of the pelvis and legs and feet, let yourself find a little lightness out of the pelvis so that there's both a grounding but also a lovely rising through the spine. Perhaps through your mood, lighten it up if that's available to you right now. Just take some nice deep breaths, inviting in a shift in your day towards movement and really finding greater sense of awareness in your movements and in your mind movements. And welcoming in also just some softness. Really giving yourself a break if things have been rough lately, especially. And if there's any other intention that you'd like to invite in as we get started, light intention. Noticing what brought you here, why you're here. Taking a couple breaths into that query. Letting the inhales expand and open you up into your surroundings, into that which is outside of you, drawing that in. And exhaling, letting out the air, the breath, anything that does not serve, anything that feels like excess. Slowing down and focusing for the next few just on your breaths. And on the inhale, let there be a gentle expansion, maybe a tiny sense of arch through the back, maybe a gaze up, little gentle look up. And on exhale, a rounding, a drawing in, a concavity, so the belly draws in and the pelvic floor, the glutes squeeze a little bit, the head drops just gently. And working with the breath, a couple more rounds like that, a little tiny bit of arch and opening in the front body and the eyes going up, maybe the chin rising up a little bit, and exhale, drawing the belly in, pubic bone draws toward belly button, belly squeezes in, backs of shoulders open, gaze goes down. 2 more rounds, just a subtle exploration of this movement of the different phases of the breath in and out. And let's bring this into circle. So hands come on the knees and just let your whole torso circle from the base of the pelvis. Find that circle. Oh, let your shoulders move, let your head gently move with it. It's finding some freedom. Nothing has to be perfect. Just a chance to move and explore, circling in the other direction when you're ready. Feeling how your hips are connected to this movement. Anything you need to shift or change to make this even smoother, even more thorough of a lovely circle. And over the next breath, just come to stillness again. And let your head start to have its circle, just the head. And let your breath also be invited in. If you can't take a full circle with your head, just find the semicircle or the places around the circle of the head that feel just good and right. You might feel some nice gentle tugs on the shoulders. Hopefully that's pleasurable. Circle in the other direction. Let the jaw relax and release. And let's circle out the shoulders. Inviting in the movement for the rest of the arm, the elbows and the wrists, and the fingers. Using this as a moment to just sort of shake off, to take off any stress that's come in already into your day. Just kind of shake it off, take it off like you're taking off a heavy cloak, lightening your existence right now. And let's find a big backstroke. And follow this with your eyes. Let your mouth open in wonder. Let your hands clasp behind you and drop your shoulders and lift your chest. And if you want, your hands can drop all the way back down to or toward the floor, and the heart can melt upward, the gaze melt upward, collarbones open, the shoulder blades squeeze together. Inhale, wide open. And let's release and find our way to all fours, to that tabletop pose, just pausing there for a moment and lifting your belly. So rather than letting your belly fall and drop toward the ground, lift it up, let it levitate up toward the sky. Let your spine be long, pressing into your palms, lengthening out through your tail. Take a little circle through each wrist. And we'll actually take the left hand and turn the fingers to the left. And if it feels okay for you, turn the fingers to the back of your mat so that the front of the wrist is pointing to the front of the mat. And just take a little circle around your wrist. Your body moves, takes you into that circle, circling in both directions. Noticing how this is connected to the rest of you. Checking in with your belly. Are you still drawing up and long? And then come to stillness, little stretch for the wrist. The more you pull your hips back, the more you'll get that stretch there. And we'll gently come out and release. Just give a little shake out, anything that feels right. Taking it to the other side, the right hand turns to the right. And then the fingertips turn toward the back of your mat. So the front of your wrist, the inner wrist is pointing forward. Any amount that feels right for you. Coming into that nice circle. Just easing out through the wrists, warming up our wrists, getting ready for our flow. Coming to stillness for a moment, and as you lean your hips back, you might get even more of a stretch for the front of the wrist, just to your degree, don't overdo. And then undo, come on out, give it a shake. Cats and cows, in and out, through the spine, through the breath. Really articulating and noticing all the places of your spine, all the connections through your breath. Also, how your belly and your front body is engaged in this motion. Couple last rounds. And come to stillness. And we're going to lift the right knee up. So we're taking fire hydrant pose so that the inner thigh on that right leg is facing the ground. And you might feel a little burn for your outer hip. Just take some tiny little pulses with the knee up toward the sky. And feel your strength through the left leg and your hands, long spine. Couple rounds. Feeling into that strength. Coming into some circles for that knee now. All on 3 limbs, the knee and the other hands. And then circle in the other direction. Come back to fire hydrant for 5 more seconds. 4 little pulses. 3, 2, last 1. Hold it. Squeeze the glutes. Come on back to all fours and press your way back to child pose. Hips press back to heels. Arms extend forward and long. Forehead down to the ground. Lengthen out your spine and your hips. And really enjoy some nice deep full breaths. One more big breath in and out. And then come on back up to all fours, reconnect to your belly, lifting up, supporting you there. And then launch your left knee up, knee is bent, inner thigh facing the ground, little pulses, feeling that little burn through the outer hips, outer thighs. This is really important for the hip strength, and this is great for our posture, our balance. This will be good for those of us skating on ice these days. And take this into a circle through the hip, circling in the other direction when you're ready. Returning to that fire hydrant shape, like a dog delivering its business for the day. Couple more pulses, 5, 4, 3, 2, hold it, squeeze your glute. Return, release, and set back to child pose once again. Lengthening the arms, lengthening the hips. Take another breath or two. And we'll launch our way to downward facing dog, lifting the hips high. And walk it out, just bend one knee and then the other. You might be easing out after that little hip extravaganza. We'll come back to that in different ways throughout the practice. Turn your toes to the left and your heels to the right and extend long through the left side from fingertips back through that left hip. And take it to the other side, toes to the right, heels to the left, long through the right side body. Come on back to center and reach your right leg high to the sky and circle out that right ankle. And go ahead and see how high you can lift your right leg and pull back through each heel, getting long, long, long. And then bend your right knee and roll your hip open. And we'll take little pulses. So while your right foot is pressing towards your left shoulder, just lift the leg up and down, bent knee, opening up and still kind of finding that pulsing movement. And then bring it into a circle, right knee circles. And if there's anywhere along the spectrum of that circle where you feel a little bit like, ooh, I feel weak here, there's a little burn, pause and take a couple pulses. Just exploring movement and gaining strength through the hips. Reach your right leg super high to the sky, lift it up, pull back through each heel. Exhale, round and knee to nose. And let's step the right foot forward and sink down onto the left knee. And rise your way up so your hands come on your thighs. Dip your hips deep. Draw your hands to Namaste at the heart. Just pause there. Sinking your hips, lifting through the core, lifting through your heart, and just letting the shoulders drape down the back, the eyes gaze up. Take another breath. And exhale, pull your hips back towards your back heel and straighten out that right leg, flexing your right foot. Little tiny movements through the torso to lengthen out over that right leg. Last 2 breaths. And let's launch into standing split. Rise the left leg high to the sky, bow your head down heavy, and feel the strength it takes to hold your body up with that right leg. Your right hip is doing work here. Launch your left leg out to the side, maybe 45 degrees. We're doing extra hip strengthening today. And take some little pulses with the left leg up, straight. Both legs are straight. It's not quite a standing split. You're more at an angle. Take another 2. And then let's step back strong into the high plank and pause there. Shoulders over wrists, heels draw back, crown of head lengthens forward. Belly is scooting in, and you're feeling that buoyancy through the front body, through your breath. Pause and be here. Be present. Feel little shakings, quakings, anything that might happen. One more breath. Lower gently down, down, down. And then come on up, little cobra pose, lift your heart. Elbows stay bent and in close to your body. Feet press down into the ground. Get open and long through the spine. Crown of head floating its way up toward the sun. Wrists pulling back towards hips, and hips drawing forward towards the wrists. Squeeze your glutes. Take a breath, inhale. Exhale, come on down. Inhale, press up, high plank. And exhale, press back, downward facing dog, and just walk it out. Bend one knee and then the other. Let your head gently nod yes or no. Palms pressing forward actively. Breath filling all the little nooks and crannies. Launch your left leg on up to the sky. Circle out that left ankle. And then stack left hip over right, bend knee, roll open. And just take little pulses up with that left knee, just tiny little pulses. If there's pain or discomfort here, take care of yourself. If you need to bend a knee or come out of the pose a little bit, your body will know what to do. And then bring this as you're ready. Maybe before you go there, just give a little squeeze to the glutes and then circle it. Circle with that left knee. Finding fluidity, mobility, ease, smooth movement. Left leg launches high to the sky. Pull back through each heel. Press forward through each palm. Lift that left leg even higher if you can. How high can you go? And then round and squeeze in knee to nose. And step your left foot forward, sink down onto your right knee. This time, launch your arms high. Interlace your fingers. Draw your palms skyward. Sink your hips earthward. And draw the belly in toward the center of your body. And just breathe into this beautiful shape of yourself. How gorgeous you are right here, right now. Let your body lighten up. Take another breath. Exhale, hands down and hips pull back. Hips toward back heel, left leg lengthens. Little movements through the body, through the torso to lengthen out over that left leg. Full breaths. One more breath. Let's take it into flight, standing split. Stand on that left leg, launch your right leg high. And see about unweighting the left hip a little bit so that there's strength through the left leg and lightness. And then walk that right leg out to a little bit of an angle, maybe at a 45 degrees to the standing leg, and little pulses up. So maybe you're facing, that right leg is facing the corner of your room rather than behind you. Little pulses there, strengthening the hip. Take another breath. And we'll step it back strong to the high plank. Pausing again, heels draw back, crown of head reaches forward. Little tuck to the tailbone, a scooch into the belly. Shoulders draw out away from ears. Take another breath, inhale. Exhale all the way down to your belly again. Hands come wider than your mat, come on your claw fingers and rise. Lift your chest, lengthen through the legs. Lift the heart, drop the shoulders. Feel the stretch for the front body, a squeeze to the glutes, inhale. Exhale, drop the right shoulder, gaze past the left shoulder toward the left ankle. Inhale, rise back up. And exhale, turn the other way, gazing to the right, left shoulder drops. Inhale, high. Exhale, off to the left. Inhale, rise. Exhale, right. Two more, inhale, up. Gazing left, right shoulder drops. Last one, inhale, up. Gazing to the right, left shoulder drops. Inhale, up. Pause it, lift your legs, lift your feet off the ground. Reach your arms back if you like, interlace them, or just flying airplane type pose. Lift the chest, squeeze the glutes, take a breath. Exhale, come on down. Inhale, press high plank. And exhale, pull back, downward facing dog. Big breath in, full breath out. Bend your knees, look forward, spring step or float to the front. Reach out, flat back, lengthen. Exhale, fold in, bow, hug in, let your head fall. Maybe a little hug behind the calves. And you can walk your feet nice and wide if you want. And you can bend your knees a little or a lot. You can take opposite hand to opposite elbow. Choose the placement for your legs and your arms and your hands and feet carefully so that you feel just right here. If it feels nice to sway it out, go for it. Use this as a moment to drop your cares and worries. Come into the connection of your feet to the ground, of your spine getting longer, rising up through the hips, dropping down through the crown of the head. Take your hands now to your head or hair and just give yourself a nice massage, a tug, a sound, a sigh. The face, soften it up with your touch, with your awareness. The back of the neck and the shoulders, remind them to let go. And if something hurts or does not release or isn't cooperating, invite that in too. Like, that's where we are today. That's where you are today. And you're welcome. It's okay. It's okay to be right where you are. Bend your knees and roll your way up to standing, one vertebra at a time. Circle those shoulders. Take that big backstroke like we took at the beginning with the arms, backstroking. Meeting with the hands clasped behind you. Lift your heart, drop through your heels. Let your eyes gaze up and maybe a little back bend. Walking your gaze along the ceiling, standing firm through the legs. Take a big breath in. And rise the arms up as you come back through the midline. Bringing the hands right down through the heart, right down through the center. Taking a moment to close your eyes. Invite in some feisty movement to come with our flow. Reach your arms high, inhale. Exhale, swan dive low, let it go. Knees can bend to take you there. Inhale, long, flat back, belly strong. Exhale, step or jump it, high plank. This time just hovering, chaturanga, elbows in close to the body. Inhale your way to upward facing dog. And then flow your way on back, downward facing dog. Right leg comes high, back behind you, and then out to the side like you're doing a roundhouse kick. Imagine karate kicking out to the right with that right leg. And just pulse your right toes forward toward the front of your mat. And then launch the right leg up to the sky again. Inhale. And we'll step forward, warrior one. Right foot steps, left foot spins flat. Come on up, sink in through those hips. Lift through your heart. Give a little squeeze to the glutes. Notice what happens when you connect into the hip strength. Exhale, we'll open wide, warrior two. Inhale, reverse your warrior. Walk your fingertips along the ceiling. And we're going to bring the hands down to the to the floor, to the right side, and flex your left foot. And just take a pause there, squeezing the glutes. Come into balance, reaching your arms out away from you. Hands to the heart. See about returning to warrior two, standing up. Deepen in through that lunge. Right elbow to right thigh, left arm reaches over ear. Wrap your top arm round the back for a half bind. Spin your heart to the sun. Maybe circle out that left shoulder. And give a good squeeze to the glutes as you deepen into your lunge. See if you can dive even lower into the lunge. Returning to warrior two, find your core connection here. Long lunge, Reverse your warrior, straighten out your right leg, and fly through vinyasa, high to low, upward facing, downward facing dog. Take your time. Move through each posture carefully, filled with care. Left leg launches to the sky and then bring it out to the left side and just take some little pulses so your toes reach toward the front of your mat. Leg is long. Beautiful. Re-extend that leg high to the sky, inhale. And exhale, we'll step forward, left foot steps, right foot spins flat. Virabhadrasana 1, warrior 1. Dip in through the hips. Lift your heart high. Spread through the back leg and through your whole body, let it glow. Exhale, swing wide, warrior 2. Deepen into that lunge. Take a little reverse. Inhale. And then hands come down by the left foot and bend that left knee and straighten your right leg and find your balance, releasing the hands away from the floor. Feel your strength here. Feel your agility. And then we're going to use, without the hands, a way to return to warrior 2. Left leg bends, right leg straight. Elbow, left elbow to left thigh. Right arm reaches over ear. Spread through that right side. And wrap your top arm around your back. Dip into the lunge even deeper. Circle out that right shoulder. Take a breath here. Spin your heart to the sun. Squeeze your belly in. Squeeze your glutes. Lengthen your low back. Return to reversing the warrior, straightening out the left leg. Inhale. And we'll flow through vinyasa. High to low, upward facing, meet me in down dog. Take a breath in. Take a big breath out. Bend your knees, look forward, spring, step, or float to the front. Lift and lengthen, flat back, reach. And exhale, hug in, fold in. Roll your way up to standing, reach your arms out wide and high. And gather through the center. A little bit of balancing. Now the one-legged poses are really good for hip strength. So shift your weight off to your left foot. And let's take tree pose. Sole of foot comes to the inner left thigh. Leg presses into foot and foot presses into leg. Find your balance. Scoot your belly in and give a little squeeze to your glutes, your pelvic floor. Launch your crown of your head high, get light. Feel the strength that it takes for the left leg. Just tune into that to find your balance here. And then cross that right ankle across your left thigh and dip your hips. Hips go back, elbows come to either side of that front shin. Take a breath here, inhale. And exhale, we'll step wide to the warrior 2 once again. Reverse your warrior. Hands come down to the floor by the left leg. Straighten the right leg out. Find your balance, reaching your arms out wide. And then find your strength to get you to warrior 2. Left leg bends, right leg straighten. Reverse your warrior. Elbow to thigh, right arm reaches over ear. Wrap your top arm around the back for the half bind. Spin your heart to the sun. Deepen through your lunge. Take another breath. We're going to fly into our half moon. So the left hand goes forward of the pinky toe. Karate kick your right leg up into space and go. Float those arms into wingspan if you can. Feel the strength it takes to support with the left leg. Bend your right knee and reach back for your foot if it's there for you today. Not there for me today. Take another breath. And we'll step wide again, warrior 2. Reverse the warrior, straighten your left leg. This time, turn your toes in, your heels out. Bend your left elbow. And then bend your right elbow and see if you can join forces with your fingers. Left elbow flows to the sky, right elbow draws toward the earth. Lift your heart. Get light off your feet. Inhale. Exhale, hinge at the hips, halfway. Pausing at the halfway point. Breathing there. Toes and heels out. Spine very long. Breath full and deep, 2 more breaths. A little tiny bend to the knees, just a little micro bend. See what that does for your hips. And then release the hands to the ground and bow in, fold forward. Let it go. Soften and deepen your breath. Spread out through the legs, and then a little isometric squeeze of the inner soles of the feet in toward the midline. 1 more breath. Find your flat back on next inhale, and walk your hands away around to the front. Walk your right toes in a little bit, your right feet in, your right foot in. Right hand stays down, left arm flows to the sky for a twist. Big wingspan through the arms. Maybe there's a block under your right hand. For 3, 2, 1 more breath. Listen carefully. We're gonna ground into that left foot and come back into the figure 4 with the right ankle crossing over the left thigh, just to come back from where we started. And then back off to tree, right foot to inner left thigh, pressing foot into leg, leg into foot, firm through the left leg, squeeze the glutes, release, and just take a little dance. Just let those hips wiggle, the shoulders and the head. Feel your wild animal inside moving. Second side, shift your weight off to your right foot and join the sole of the inner right foot to the inner right thigh, if you can. And just feel your strength, feel your power. Imagine this was a strong stake grounding into the ground and a sense of lightning rising out of it, like a lightning bolt rising out of the ground, right up through your whole body. Let's shift to the left ankle, crossing over the right thigh. Dip your hips deep. Hips go back, chest and crown of head reach forward. Maybe those elbows touch down to that front shin and foot. Take a breath. And let's swing wide, warrior 2. Inhale, reverse the warrior. Hands come down right hip to the right side of your mat, right down by your right foot. Stretch that left leg out. Unweight your hands from the earth. Maybe spread them out wide and use your leg strength to bring you back to warrior 2. Reverse your warrior. Right elbow to right thigh. Left arm swings over ear. Wrap your top arm around your back. Spin your heart to the sun. Breathe into this. 1 more breath. See if you can deepen your lunge just a little further. And then reverse your warrior, straightening your right leg. Right elbow bends, right hand drops down the back. Left elbow bends, and see if you can meet your fingertips together. Turn your toes in and your heels out. Spread through the legs and lift your chest. Lift your elbow, the right elbow, drop your left. Breathe into this beautiful shape. And we'll hinge and fold and bow. Deepening your breath. You can keep the clasp or release it, whatever feels best for you. Find your breath. Find your flat back. Draw your belly in and up, lengthen through your whole spine. And then we're going to fly into our half moon. Right hand steps forward a pinky toe. Karate kick your left leg up into space. Find your wingspan. Maybe you bend your left knee and reach back for the foot. Squeeze the glutes. Maybe the left leg can lift a little bit higher, working that outer left hip. Take another breath. Step it way back. Turn to face the front of your mat. Left hand lands down. Right hand rises on up as your outer right hip pulls back. Find your breath. Find the spin through your spine as the back leg anchors you into this pose. Last breath. Feel the beautiful landing into the fullness of this moment. And then we're going to fly back into the figure four. Left ankle crosses over right thigh. Maybe it's a step, step, step. That's okay. Dip through your hips. Crown of head lengthens forward. Transitioning back to tree pose. Take a breath. And then standing on 2 feet, having a little dance to release the tension through the hips, through the shoulders, through the body. Maybe there's a little shakeout you want to take. Anything that feels good for you right here, right now. And then find your way to stillness. Plugging back in. Flow the arms high, inhale. Full down, exhale, let it go. Maybe the knees bend to take you there. Lift and lengthen flat back, reach out long. Step or jump your way back to plank, just pause. We're gonna take our side plank, so come onto the outer edge of the right foot. Now, if you need to step your left foot forward, do so. If you can stack your legs, you could do that too. Let's see what we can do to have some fun here. Now, if you've got legs stacked, lift your left leg off of your right and maybe just take some little pulses. If your left foot is stepped forward to the middle of the mat, see if you can unweight just a little bit your right foot. It might just be a little hop. So just have some fun with your hip play. We're doing that today. Take another breath. Come back to the middle. Let's just find all fours for a moment and take some movement. Cats and cows, circles, spirals. Catch your breath. And return back to plank as you're ready. And then spin the outer edge of the left foot onto the mat. Now you could stack your right foot over your left, and if that's the case, lift your left leg up off your right. If you need and choose to have your right foot to the middle of your mat supporting this plank pose, see if you can put more weight into the right leg and just take some little pulses of the left leg off of the floor. Have some fun with this exploration. The more we have fun with our strengthening work, the better. Let's return to all fours and press back to child pose, hips back, arms forward. Breath full and deep, maybe a little sigh of relief. Maybe a little wiggle through the hips and the shoulders and the head. Release of the tongue, the jaw, the face. And find your way back to down dog. We're gonna release the hips now through pigeon. So right leg floats to the sky. Bend the right knee and just a couple little pulses if that felt good for you. You could try it with legs straight this time. And then we're gonna step the right foot to the left wrist. Sink down through the hips, lift through the heart. You've earned your pigeon today. Lots of hip work, really interesting. Bow and fold forward, let it go. Hips and legs draw back. Face, neck, shoulders, release. If you can stretch the arms out in front of you, that's great. Slow breaths. A little shifting of the energy into something a little slower. The breath is fuller. If you still have the energy, you can squeeze your glutes a little bit. Just do a little bit of glute work. Last 2 breaths.
And we'll rise and we'll come into pigeon on the second side. So step right back, three-legged dog. A little couple donkey kicks might feel really right. And connect back into downward dog, noticing how you're feeling through your hands and your legs and your feet and your hips, your head, your belly. Maybe you can connect to each rib or each vertebra or each fingernail. Let's launch the left leg high to the sky, bend that knee, roll open, and take a couple little pulses with that knee up to the sky, little variation on the fire hydrant. Launch your left leg up to the sky when you're ready, and we'll step forward for the pigeon. Left foot to right wrist. Dip your hips deep, lift your heart high. Come into it in your timing, folding in. Maybe there's some extra squeezing of the glutes and the pelvic floor, maybe not. Listen to your body's wisdom, what is available, what is useful, what is possible. Sometimes more is possible than we think. Last couple breaths. And we will release. And this time we're just going to head straight to lying on our backs. If you prefer to come back to the three-legged dog, just meet me here on your back. Take a moment to stretch out. Just a tiny little mini moment to integrate, to breathe, to celebrate your body and its being alive here, now, today, this week. What good fortune we have to be able to celebrate winter, whether it's warm or cold, wherever we are. Just give a little wiggle through the fingers and the toes and the body, the head. Let the tongue stick out and make a little hoarse sound through the lips. And then bring your feet to the ground. And draw your heels in close to your hips. And bring your hands down by your sides. And we're going to come into just some graduating bridges. So we're going to just come up a couple inches off the ground and squeeze the glutes and tuck the tail and hold this for a count of 10. 3, 4, squeeze those glutes. 5, 6, if you want to waver the knees in and out a little bit, you can. 7, 8, 9, and bring it down. Take a breath in, breath out. If you need a little arch or round through the spine, that's great. And then we're going to come up a little higher, maybe a third of the way higher. And again, you can bring the knees in and out, and you really want to squeeze through the glutes. So take a breath or two for 5, 4, 3, squeeze 2, one more breath. Knees are walking in and out if that feels nice, and then come on down, take a breather, rise all the way up to your full bridge. So interlace your hands underneath you, lift the hips, squeeze those glutes. And we're gonna take just a few moments here to open the chest and lengthen through the front line of the body from the collarbones down through the kneecaps, squeeze those glutes. Lift the hips even higher, engage the hamstrings by drawing the heels close to the shoulders. Last breath. And gently come down. Little windshield wiper side to side with your knees. And we're going to take one more round. This time we're going to be dropping one side down and then the other. You'll see once we get there. So press through the feet, lift through your hips. If it feels nice, interlace your hands underneath or just take the sides of the mat. So here's our full bridge. And then on exhale, we're going to drop the right hip down, but keep the left hip as high as you can. And then inhale back up to center, squeeze those glutes. And then exhale, the left hip drops down and the right hip stays high. Inhale, back up, squeeze. We'll take 2 more rounds, dropping through the right, lifting through the left. Inhale, squeeze. Drop through the left, in, lift through the right. Inhale, back up, squeeze. 1 more round. Right hip drops, left hip lifts. Inhale, squeeze, lift even higher. Last one, left hip drops, right hip lifts. Squeeze, lift, 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 lift. And release. And come on down, hug your knees in and just rock it out side to side. Take a sigh of relief. Notice the effects of that on your body, maybe your low back. And let's bring the knees over to the left and the right arm extends out to the right. And if you're feeling really feisty and like your hips have the capacity, you can do some clamshells, lifting your right leg off of your left, but only if you've got that capacity. And maybe err on the side of less. Take a breath. Take a sigh. Take it on over to the other side. And again, if it feels possible and good for you, little clamshells. Left leg lifts, bent leg lifts off the bent right leg. And if not, just stay with the twist and just go easy. And also, if so, just don't do too many, just a few, just to seal in the feeling. 2 more breaths. Unwinding as you're ready. Happy baby, taking the soles of the feet or creases of the knees and dropping the knees down to either side of your torso. It might feel nice to rock it out. As a matter of fact, stillness might be just perfect for this moment. Staying with your breath. Tuck your chin gently to integrate the whole spine into this hip opener. And then hug your knees into your chest, just shifting it up, giving yourself a squeeze. Again, tucking your chin and lengthening out your spine. Hands come to knees and we take a really gentle circle. So we're just stirring the pot of the hips and the low back. And then we'll take a very short inversion. So if you want to just place a block under your hips and lift your legs to the sky, that might feel amazing. If you'd like to choose a different inversion, such as a headstand or a handstand or a shoulder stand, those are all an option. But we'll take about a minute, maybe less, just to let the legs drain. If you're by a wall, you can bring your legs up the wall. Seriously restorative. Breathe. Let go. Release on out in your own timing. And you may be ready for Shavasana. You may just want to straighten those legs out and give yourself all the different supports you might need, like a little something under your knees or a blanket on top of your body. If there's any last minute pose that your body is asking for before finding Shavasana, then now is your moment to explore that and to try that and to take that. So closing your practice your way, yogi's choice. And if you want to rest in a seated meditation posture, that is also on offer always as a way to integrate the practice and to let everything just seep in and seal in. Find your way to
quiet and a sense of non-doing, but just being. A return all to yourself. And the way your breath moves in and out of your body. With as much peace and space as you can practice. Enjoy, slow down, let go. Hmm. Hmm. And take a big breath in and a long breath out. And let your hands come to a part of your body that feels like it needs a little extra love and attention today. Maybe it's the hips, we spent some time there. Maybe it's the heart or the belly. Maybe it moves around a little bit. So just be kind. Roll to your side as you're ready. Maybe keeping your hands wherever they need to be. Pausing on your side and giving yourself a hug. Reminding yourself of your perfection just as you are and all of your imperfections and all the ways we're working bravely in this world, doing the best we can. Rising on up to seated as you're ready. And once you're there, get really long, longer than you remembered getting before, pressing down through your hips, lengthening through every rib, every vertebra, letting your muscles support the lengthening that's happening in your spine. Hands drop to the heart to connect, to reconnect to self and to all the sides of you, the two sides connecting into one here in the middle. Taking a little gaze down to offer trust and faith. Namaste. Let your hands rise up between your brows and lift you up. And another namaste, bowing to one another.